What's going on, guys? Really excited for this review because this product honestly blew away my expectations and really was one of the most unique resistance training products I've ever tried. I'll be reviewing the MaxPro, which is a portable, lightweight machine weighing less than 9 pounds. It has up to 300 pounds of resistance packed into this little package, which at this time boasts itself as the highest resistance to weight ratio of any device that's out there. But in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what this thing is, its basic functions, outline some of the pros and cons. There's definitely some cons with this product as well. I'll demonstrate a variety of exercises and uses throughout this whole video. You're gonna see a bunch of different exercises in the backdrop. I'll comment on its overall effectiveness for resistance training, but you can actually use this thing for aerobic conditioning as well. I'll discuss a little bit of the competition, how I'm personally gonna be using this thing or how I have been using it. And at the end of the video, I'll talk about who I think would best benefit from picking up this product. And full disclosure, MaxPro did send this to me for free for review, but this is not a sponsored video. They said I can be as honest as I want. And I should say, they didn't just send me one MaxPro, they sent me two MaxPros because of my own faults, I actually broke the first one, which I'll kind of get into that on some things to definitely consider so you guys don't potentially break your unit. At the time of this recording, I'm somewhat kind of a soft affiliate, not really even a full-on affiliate. Their products are actually heavily discounted at the time of this video, and they told really one of the best offers they can give people watching the channel, also help support me and the channel, is $25 off their Elite Bundle, which is what I'm featuring here. And honestly, it's gonna be the one I'm kind of recommending, mostly because of all the features to maximize this. So if you guys do want to help support me and the channel, you guys can click the link below and also use that promo code SBT to save off their Elite Bundle. But at the very least, if you found this at all informative, please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing. All right, first getting into what this thing is and a little bit of background to why I even consider reviewing this product, because I am very selective on the stuff I review. I simply do not have the space, and if I'm even considering checking something out, odds are it's because I myself personally think there might be some potential interest in it, and a lot of the stuff that I do review, generally half the time I'm paying for the stuff out of pocket. This was one such thing that I knew about for some period of time. I think I saw their original Shark Tank where Mark Cuban made a deal with them. Some of you guys say I actually look like Mark Cuban, so maybe I'm predisposed to kind of like this product. But to be totally honest, I actually looked at this thing years ago. I saw some initial reviews on it, which I don't really think honestly do it justice and kind of skewed me personally away from it because of its concentric only nature, so I'll get into that. So just going over its basic functionalities and what the MaxPro, the unit itself, essentially does. You can see it's very compact. I said it's less than 9 pounds, very portable. It opens up and it's a concentric only device, meaning that when you pull on this thing, there's no eccentric loading. It's only concentric force of what you're working against. It operates on this patented clutch-based system, so each side you essentially adjust the weights by turning the dial. These cables are kind of deceiving. They're super thin. They say they're 15 times stronger than traditional steel cables you'd find in a gym, and they also can be kind of locked out at a certain position where you kind of block out the dial, and this thing can be used as a suspension trainer, which is a really cool, underrated function about this machine. What I do really like about this is that this thing, as we'll get into later with their app, does have technology inside of it, so it's definitely on that smart gym technology side, but you don't need the actual technology to operate the basic functions. All this stuff using the resistance is just mechanical. There's no electricity or like technology involved with that. So getting into my initial first impressions and kind of my first workout, honestly, they were not good. I kind of was defaulting back to my kind of preconceptions about what this product was and what it can deliver just being a concentric only workout. Because the very first thing I did, the first workout I had, I just was using it as is. Not that this thing isn't cool. I mean, it's definitely cool that I can, adjust weight on the fly and get up to 300 pounds on here. But if you had me review this thing just as it was, not having the other attachments and features, I probably wouldn't have explored it or given it the time of day to discover all the potential this thing actually has going for it. But before I do get into the attachments and the exercises, we definitely got to hit on just the concentric nature of this machine, because I think that is what sets us apart. That is what's unique. There's very few things out there where you can just feel what it's like to actually do a concentric only workout. And that's also probably the potential hurdle for most people thinking this thing is even effective at muscle building. I will reference the research article if you guys are curious, like what research is behind concentric only training and is it effective. There's a great meta-analysis out there, Brad Schoenfeld, who I just talked about in a previous video as like the guru of kind of muscle hypertrophy, muscle training in the United States, great sports scientist. He actually shows us the meta-analysis where they're comparing eccentric only exercise to concentric. And the long and short of it is there's really kind of a minor difference as far as building muscle and muscle hypertrophy, with eccentric winning out just slightly. So getting into the attachments and just creative uses of this machine, machine. Like I said, this is where I really started to have fun. This is where I started to fall in love with this product and really changed the whole way I approached using this thing. Wall mount itself, honestly, you could do a whole video talking about that and just its functionality. I honestly think this thing by itself can actually serve a really cool purpose as a really easy tool to actually adjust resistance band settings, because that's one of the reasons I don't like anchoring resistance bands, just kind of cumbersome. But one thing I will say with safety wise, and something I'm definitely mindful about, is that yeah, while you are anchoring it to a stud, I'm definitely in the back of my mind knowing I'm not gonna push it too hard, because I don't know how that beam was really kind of installed in this kind of foundation. You guys can kind of comment on that, but I'm not pushing it too hard with heavy weights. Now you can always anchor these things to like a tree or something like that. You guys will see that in this video, but I would say if you can anchor this thing to a really confidently stable position, you're really gonna have a lot more fun with this. Their foldable travel bench is definitely cool. It's pretty lightweight considering how wide and kind of big it is. It's not like the best, most robust quality, but it definitely does the job. I wish it had like an incline or decline setting, but I also was again pretty surprised on what this stimulus and what it felt like doing a lot of key exercises. The bar, honestly, I didn't use as much. I actually preferred, and I just generally, because I prefer shorter dimensions with bars, I actually brought this down to the shorter setting. Squat belt is definitely a very, very cool feature. The downside though, I would say, is that first, I don't know what I did, could have been me, but you guys will see in this video, I actually bent some of the metal. It could have been the angles I had it set at. I noticed though when I started attaching it directly behind these straps, they were fine. So I don't know if there was some sort of stress point on those particular positions, but I did end up breaking the belt. So one of the first things I'm gonna be doing very soon is going on Amazon or somewhere and finding a good quality belt that is similar in features but maybe more robust. Where I got super excited and I just started having fun with it, but I would say do this at your own risk. If you guys watch the channel, you guys know I try stuff like this all the time, is I started attaching this thing to other apparatuses. So first thing right away, I attached this thing to my Total Gym. I was pushing it to the limits and I just really put the straps in the wrong way. I wasn't even reading the directions, just threw them on right when I got them, and having so much fun. I cranked it all the way up to the 300-pound limit, to 25, and just started cranking on it and broke this thing. So definitely read the directions, and as long as you set up the strap in a good way that you're not having pressure points, you gotta protect this hinge essentially, and that the straps are on the outside and you put the straps on the right way, you should be fine. So I'm actually gonna be doing that again for sure. Attach it to my lever gym. I of course attached it to my X3 with resistance bands. That felt really funky. That was actually super tough, very unique stimulus. Point is, you can use your creativity if you want to at your own risk. I have to talk about the app, even though I personally did not use it that much. I would start recording the workouts, hitting the freestyle workout button so I could record things like total force and reps, but I really didn't pay attention to it too much. But that'd be probably the main feature I want to use. Otherwise, a huge network of like social stuff on there where you can share your workouts, and there's all sorts of follow-along workouts, huge library of exercises. It's honestly a little intimidating. It would take some time to kind of go through, but their app is awesome. The downside, and we'll just jump into the cons right here. One of the first downsides or cons about the machine, specifically with the app, is the fact that it is a subscription-based model. So I understand a lot of companies are going that route, but that's something to consider. The most obvious con, of course, is gonna be the fact that there's no eccentric. It's concentric only. So if you think you're not gonna like that, that's gonna be probably obviously a detriment already. I can just say personally, I didn't think I was gonna like it, and I really kind of fell in love with it. The other negative is that these actual settings are not totally accurate. I think they do tell you online what each of these numbers actually corresponds to on weight, but if you are using the app, it actually does tell you that. But if you put the same number, like 9 on both sides, you might seem that like one might be a little bit off, and all you gotta do is even tell you to kind of just adjust it accordingly. So you might not be exactly on the dime, but if you do check your app, it will tell you that. Also, this thing is not super smooth. It definitely feels a little bit different. And also they say there's kind of a break-in period because of this clutch system they have in here. I think the more you use it, I noticed that myself, is that, yeah, it does seem to kind of break in. And I'd say just the other con, if this was my only device, is that it is awesome, it is versatile, it is very efficient the way you can kind of change things up, but there are certainly some things that might just be a little cumbersome. Like I said, changing exercises up in the bench press is a little weird to kind of get yourself into that. I'm actually thinking about trying the bench in the squat rack and actually setting it up with like a rack and unracking it, so I'll let you guys know how that happens, but that'd be the only thing. Some of the exercises are a little bit cumbersome. So how I see myself using this product, this really hits on all cylinders of things I personally am looking for out lot of home gym equipment. I want something that's a little bit interesting, a little bit fun, unique. It's also super small and versatile and also efficient. I say efficient in the way it doesn't take a lot of time changing up exercises, especially like I said, if you got the other attachments laying around. So I'm sure I'm gonna have my staple exercises on here and just incorporate various stations, or maybe I'll just have one day where I'm just doing this. But given how easy it is, just kind of set it up and just go to town and stuff, I know I'm gonna be using this thing for sure as like equivalent to like a standing functional trainer on a variety of exercises. And then just comparing it to other like competitive types of devices, you could even say like resistance bands, smart gyms, or even like this Unitree pump or like the Handy gym that's out there. I saw some videos kind of comparing this to those things. Every tool is gonna have their pros and cons, and some of those things I haven't even used. But with the smart gym specifically, yeah, you definitely have a lot more resistance capabilities, a lot more things you can do with like concentric, eccentric, and controlling that. This thing is obviously just cheaper. It's lighter, it's more portable. If you're comparing it even to like my Unitree pump or like a Handy gym, which is probably a close competitor with this possibly, that actually has eccentric capabilities, you'd have to kind of get two of those things and kind of balance them out. There's no anchor point, this has no anchor point, so I'd have to like find the different positions. This one's battery operated, but yeah, just I think where this thing really works out is the fact that it is light, it has resistance capabilities, but most importantly is the way how versatile, or I should say how efficient it is with the various attachment sites, so that it makes it easier for me to like transition to different exercises on the fly, versus if I was using something like this or the Handy gym, I would need to buy 2 units. That definitely is gonna double the cost, and then I gotta find various anchor points to kind of set it up. Thoughts on who I'd recommend this product for and if I'd recommend it. This is just a tool, just like anything else. I think you put in what you get out of it. I think I would recommend this to somebody more as a supplement. It's definitely maybe possibly an expensive supplement considering your budget. I don't think I'd use this as a standalone. That's just me personally. I know there's people who are definitely doing it, so I know it's not impossible. I just think this really has, you got more fun with it if you got other stuff you're kind of mixing in with it. Also kind of keeping this thing kind of fresh. You just can try different tools. If you're a strength conditioning coach, personal trainer, this thing has a really cool versatile tool. Of course, if you're traveling, this is going to be competing for sure. I'm thinking of like, if I'm bringing my X3, some sort of travel device, this is going to be a hard competitor. It's also a borderline multi-tool when you figure you're also getting suspension training out of this as well, among other things. So that's really it, guys. I'm trying to make this short. Let me know if you guys have any questions, thoughts, feedback. Like I said, if you guys want to save on their Elite bundle and also help support me in the channel, you can use that Pro SBT and check that link down below. See you guys on the next video.